Hi guys, Dogo here with a new video, and this video will be a discussion video about Tempo 11.0.5, which is the mid-season for the War Within. It is going to come out the 23rd of October, or maybe the 22nd in NA or something like that. It is either the 22nd or the 23rd of October, and I'm going to give you a little preview from what you can expect for the mid-season of the War Within, class tuning wise. I'm not going to talk about every single thing that you can do on the anniversary patch, because obviously it's a lot of PvE and you have like literally the return of the like OG Alterac Valley kind of BG, which is fine, but it's not going to be anything like WoW or something like that. But it is mostly talking about like class tuning right now. Okay, first and foremost, we have like a Dracthyr racial update. As you may know, we have Dracthyr for hunter, rogue, priest, mage, warrior, warlock, and you have a racial which is wing buffet. Tail swipe is only for evokers now, so it is not a racial. From my understanding, and obviously it is also nerfed. It is a 3-minute CD. Is it going to be meta for those classes or those specs? I don't know. I think personally, a lot of the things that you would get from Dracthyr, you could have way better with just getting Night Elf, for example. Or if you really want to have a knock, you can play Kultiras, which is kind of the same and knocks even further than Wing Buffet. But again, I think maybe the mobility option and being able to fly, for example, like double jump, where you can literally get knocked, but you can then double jump and you get knocked a bit less further. That can be good, but again, I don't think like it is overtaking any racials that are like top tier right now, especially for like those classes. Now a few things. I'm going to again overview a few things with you that is going to change in tempo, like in 11.0.5. I'm not going to talk about like every intrinsic buff or nerf or if it's better or not. I want to discuss about the things that you are maybe not aware, and if you are looking forward to those buffs or nerfs or changes. For example, Deathbringer gets a huge rework in my opinion. Like a lot of those talents are going to be changed from what you have on live servers. Like for example, now you have Reaper's Onslaught reduces the cooldown of Reaper's Mark by 15 seconds, but the number of obliterates empowered by extremities is reduced by 1. So it is like a nerf, right? Normally you would have like 2 of those extremities, now it's only like 1, and it's also a choice node with Dark Talents, which is also a great talent for Frost Decays, which are going for dual wield, for example. Swift and Painful, you have if no enemies are struck by Soul Rupture, you gain 10% of strength. Wave of Souls is 100% more effective on the main target, etc, etc. All of these are like great changes in general. Like I think most Frost Decays that I talk with, they think Deathbringer is going to be way more hype in 11.0.5, which is the mid-season patch. And it is going to be much better than what we have right now, so that's a positive. You get also a change on Sanlain for blood. Good thing, now it doesn't activate on Vaporic Blood, it gets activated on Dancing Rune Weapon, which is a positive because it is a offensive CD, so instead of using a defensive CD, it's going to be an offensive CD, so you're going to be a bit more smooth in that department. But I do feel like Deathbringer is like the more cool hero talent for Blood Decay as well. Then you have like Frost Decay nerf with Glacial Advance being at 80% effectiveness from Arctic Assault instead of 100%. Demon Hunters doesn't get a lot of changes, so if you're like a Demon Hunter fan, I think you might be very disappointed, because I think I've seen a lot of Demon Hunters actually being not that happy with their current beta and their current balancing and their current talents, but we'll have to see. They're going to update the icons from the Hunt and Sigil of Spite. Felsguard, focused Hydrate Protoroids, bonus damage beyond 1 target only, with the bonus reducing 10% for each target beyond 1. So that's a nerf, I think. And Vengeance Demon Hunter gets like when Metamorphosis now heals you for 40% of your maximum health instead of modifying your health directly. And Metamorphosis while in demon form no longer heals you. So I think that is maybe a nerf. I don't know. But those are the changes for Demon Hunter, which are not that many. Now, about Balance Druid, they get like a huge rework. It is like a whole page long. I don't know if I can show you. I might show you, to be fair. I think it's way easier to understand what is changing or not. I'm going to check if you can see it on my screen. I'm going to do like this really quickly. Alright, so the things that are going to change, basically, are the talents on the Balance Druid talent tree. So obviously you have like Wild Mushroom that has been changed if I'm not mistaken. You have Sun Seeker's Mushroom. Now is this from 10.0.5? No, this is not from 10.0.5. I'm going to check it right now. So you see a lot of the placements are changed. Mushroom is way higher now. It's a choice node as well. So you have a sun one, or you have like the normal one if I'm not mistaken. You have a lot of those changes. For example, Balance of All Things got reverted, like the nerf has been reverted, especially in PvP. You have also a lot of changes on the middle of the tree, and all of this is written here. So obviously I'm going to change my camera again because it's way easier for you guys to read with me if you want to read with me. But basically you have now mushrooms being changed somewhere else. You have Celestial Alignment cooldown is reduced to 75 seconds, but it also has a 2-second charge. And the duration is also reduced by 40%. Rolling Stars, so I think it's not really that great IMO. You have Astronomical Impact, critical strike damage of your Astral spells is increased by 20%. The damage wise, it's going to be a very good thing. Crashing Star, you have obviously way more procs here and there. And overall, from what I've seen and from what I've read, there's a lot more like emphasis into your Starfall and Star Surge damage, and you still want to get Eclipse, you still want to be able to play around that. So like in Fiend, I don't think it doesn't change, like I don't think it changes the actual playstyle of Balance Druid, but I think personally it's going to be a way better place from where they were before. Having Starfall being like a baseline talent is huge. Like it's like again a talent that you don't want to have talented every single time. But now you have it for free, so that's a good thing. You have a lot of talents that are going to be pushed above, and also a lot of talents that are making sense, and they are going to be reworked as well. You have a lot of balancing changes as well. You have Elin's Chosen going to 100% more damage on Starfire, which is going to be probably making you think if you want to play Elin's Chosen or Keeper of the Grove. I think Keeper of the Grove is still too strong, and that makes Elin's Chosen not really chosen in PvP. No pun intended, but I think it's because of all the things that are working with Balance Druid. But now with all the buffs and the nerfs and the changes that they made for Balance Druid, I think you have way more choices on that department. Resto Druid got like Reactive Risen now as a passive ability and talent on the talent tree instead of the PvP talent, which is a huge thing. So whenever you're going to get your heal over time, so your HOTS removed by enemies, they are going to get replaced by Reactive Resin, which is healing an ally of over 6 seconds. Multiply stacks may overlap, and also it's a passive ability. So again, if someone is like chain purging your HOTS, it's going to get replaced and you still have some heal, although probably weaker than what you have or had, but at least you have that. You also have a talent where you have like double nature swiftness charges, which I think it depends on situations if it's like a choice node or not. If it is not a choice node, it is like a straight buff towards Restore Druid in my opinion. Like Wildwood Roots with Abundance now also reduce the cost time of regrowth by 5% for every stack. and also reduce the CD of Cenarian Ward, and its duration is increased by 2 seconds, which is going to be a very strong talent for Cenarian Ward especially. Then you have also Renewing Surge, for example, also cooldown reduction on Swiftmend by up to 40% based on the current health of the target. So if you're going to use it on someone that is very low, it's going to reduce the CD of Swiftmend, and you know, Swiftmend is going to improve your regrowth heal, and by itself is going to be very interesting to play around in PvP. Consuming clear casting now causes your regrowth to also cast Nourish, interesting as well, and you have many of those changes do make sense. So I feel like it's in a great spot. And for example, here you have Dream of Scenario, so Wrath and Shed always transfers 50% of their damage, and Starfire and Swipe 33% of their damage into healing onto the nearby ally. And this effect is going to be increased by 200% while in Heart of the Wild. So now you don't need to be Heart of the Wild to actually have benefits. So that is going to be a way easier talent to play around. Omen of Clarity is now a passive that is going to be learned from level 12. Harmonious Blooming is now a 1-point talent. Overall, I think it's a huge buff towards the trees of Resto Druid. I think the class tree still has a problem. I don't know if they're going to work on it, which we'll have to see. You have Evoker having a lot more like changes here as well. So you have talents that are going to be improved to accommodate with the Evoker ratios that are going to get nerfed. You have Permanent Shield now is baseline for Evoker and no longer spams immune messages when attacking enemies who are immune to slows. Overall, I think a lot of quality of life changes that are not going to be mandatory to see something like purely a difference from live and whenever the mid-season is going to come out. But I want to talk about like one big change in the hero talents and the class itself. It would be Hunter. Both BM and MM got a lot of changes on their tree. I might make like a separate video for that as well, but in general, people are going to complain about Hunter. I think it's going to be a very strong contender for being an S+ class in general for survival, BM and MM. Dark Ranger is insane. Now Black Arrow is not just a dot that you're going to apply on the enemy. It is literally changing your kill shot into a Black Arrow. So it is shadow damage, so you're going to deal a lot more damage as well. It is also a low dot, which is going to be still an improvement from what we have right now. And you have also Withering Fire, which is the last node of the Dark Ranger 3. Every 4 casts of Bestial Wrath or while Thrush Out is active, you surrender to darkness for 12 seconds. When you gain Death Blow, Black Arrow automatically fires at your target and 2 additional Black Arrows at 50% of effectiveness. So you can basically like have a lot of damage and a lot of procs from Death Blow that are going to fling those Black Arrows, which are kill shots pretty much, onto the enemy. It's going to do a lot of damage for MM, maybe not for BM, because again BM is not scaling as well on their own damage as their pet, but it's still going to be a huge improvement from what we have right now as a BM and MM. And they have a lot of more like talents changed. I'm not going to read every single thing. Murder of Crows is coming back for MM as well. Shadow damage, you have your Dire Beasts that are going to be Dark Hounds pretty much, which are going to be a lot of great damaging possibilities for MM and BM. So it's a huge rework. A lot of those talents, for example, the following talents have been removed. Those are like no short of 7 talents that are going to get removed and replaced for better talents. So it's a great thing. You can play literally the Dark Ranger fantasy, and many people actually wanted to play that. So now it's going to be a even better way to play Hunter in the near future. Black Clearer still is going to be like kind of vanilla feel, like very much without flavor, and Sentinel is going to be having a improvement on visual effects from Lunar Storm, which is going to be making it a bit more visible, I guess. Your BM Hunter is going to be changing as well. Bob Shot doing more damage. Bob Shot increased cooldown as well, and the duration is also increased. Your Frenzy is also increased. overall, you're going to gain a lot of things, and also new talents that are going to improve your Cobra shot. And that is going to be quite interesting. So you can either play a Cobra shot that is going to be automatically fired with your auto shots, that can be very interesting, or you can spam Cobra shots to increase your damage as well every single time. Yeah, like you have like two great talents here, where if you can like auto shot multiple times and you have multiple procs of Cobra shot, it will like get 15%, 30%, 45%, etc, etc, until it has 6 stacks. And once the 6 stats are reached, the bonus is removed and you gain 8% increased damage pet on pet damage for 10 seconds. So it's a huge buff as well. And Cobra shot is going to be interesting to have. So that is also going to be a possibility. You have way more choices now on the spec tree as well. It also like have a lot of cool interactions with like your barb shot, but also your kill command. Now animal companion no longer reduces the damage of all your pets, but the following pet abilities has been reduced by 35% to accommodate that. So kill command is going to be reduced, stomp is going to be reduced, bloodshed, claw, bite, and smack. And the following talents have been removed, which is kindred spirits, which is like a boring modifier talent, and improved kill command, which is also a boring like modifier talent. So that's a good thing to have and to be removed. And Dark Ranger has like a few changes here and there. So you have a stacking aura duration for the Glacial Rafts. Only 3 are needed, so it was 4. And Black Power is increased by 100%. Shadowhounds now have Beast Cleave for their duration as well. And Bleak Arrows, excuse me, will also have some chances to trigger Death Blow increase to 20% instead of 15%. So overall, great things. MM also got a few changes, new talents, also a few reworks ones. I'm not going to read everything, but overall, Death Blow is going to be very, excuse me, very prominent in the overall meta. And I think in general, Dark Ranger is going to be the go-to hero talent for both PM Hunter and MM Hunter as well. So that is also quite good. Then you have also a few changes on the Survival Hunter one, which is like mostly modifiers or like simple changes on talents. But overall, again, Death Blow is going to have a big rework for every single spec and every single like the whole hunter class actually. So for example, Sikkim has been updated, so kill command's chance to grant Death Blow is increased to 15%, and Death Blow now makes kill shot strike up to 2 additional targets. Your chance to gain Death Blow is doubled during coordinated assault. So overall, you're going to have a big chance of Death Blow being procced by kill command, or for example your MM Hunter as well, with like your aim shot. And you will also have a lot more chances to proc them with your BM Hunter. So that's going to be great. And here a lot of changes as well. You can pause the video if you want to read them. And then you have Mage, also a few changes, not really that impactful overall. I do feel like Spellslinger needs a rework, and Sun Fury as well. But overall, I think they're doing a good job with Mage. Arcane Mage has got like a lot of changes as well. I'm not gonna read everything, but it might be, again, like the purpose of this video is to tell you which specs or which classes are going to get changed. In whatever extent, that is going to depend on the one that is going to read it and understand it. Personally, I don't know too much about Arcane Mage, so it's very hard for me to have a clear opinion about it being good or bad. Again, it seems from what I've read right now that it's all good and great changes, but again, how is it going to be playing in the practice is another question that has been to be able to be asked once it's going to come out. Then you have Fire Mages, also a lot of changes, mostly modifiers and also like updates towards a talent. That is all again going to be played around Flame Strike, which is not great for us PvPers. And then you have Monks, which, to be fair, again, mistweavers are going to be reworked for the 5th time in the 4th patch, pretty much. Like overall with Dragonflight and the War Within together, a lot of like changes that are going to be quite good. For example, Dome of Mist is now baseline, if I'm not mistaken, instead of like, not baseline, but like a talent. Oh no, it's actually baseline, excuse me. It is baseline instead of being a PvP talent, so it's a great thing. Ancient Tissues is now a baseline effect, transfers damage from Crackling Jade Lightning, but now transfers 30% of damage into healing, which is quite good. Jadefire Teachings as well, whenever you're going to cast it, or Thunder Focus T. Transfer an additional 140% damage to healing for 15 seconds while Jadefire Teachings is active. Your stamina is increased by 5%. Life cooldown grants 5 stacks of mana T, so you're going to be able to regen mana pretty quickly as well. Rushing Wind Kick. Kick up a powerful gust of wind, dealing nature damage in a 25-yard cone, so you have AoE damage as well, and you're going to be able to heal a bit better as well with that. It replaces Rise Sun Kick, so it's a choice node with Jadefire Teachings. In PvP, you're going to most likely play Jadefire Teachings anyways. Jade Empowerment. So now you're going to be able to cast Thunder Focus T to increase your next Crackling Jade Lightning damage by 1000% and causes it to chain the 4 additional enemies. So it's going to be a lot of AoE damage. It's going to be quite interesting. So you don't have to be playing Fist Weaving to have like some impact in those games, which is going to be quite fun to play around. It channels a bit faster as well. Blackout Kick is also increasing damage. So again, they're going to try to help windwalkers to be mistweavers to be a bit more relevant. And then you have your windwalkers getting a few buffs and bugs fixes. And Paladin, that's a huge video, I think. It's very hard to tell everything that's going to be changed, but if you want to take a look, we can go to the Paladin tree, and you will see the many changes that are live for Holy Paladin, but also for Retribution Paladin. Everything is changed, like literally everything is changed. You have many things that are going to help you with forbearance. For example, here you have a reduction on the duration of forbearance, so if you're doing a bop, 10 seconds are the bop, and then you have another 10 seconds of forbearance. So it's going to be a huge thing, and it's going to be quite interesting to play around. I think Lightsmith gets a few changes as well, and you are going to be able to do Divine Shield even whenever you're going to have forbearance on yourself. So it's going to help a lot with surviving as a Holy Paladin, but also as a Retribution Paladin. So I look forward to that. For example, here you have Stoicism, which is going to come back, which is the duration of stun effects on you is reduced by 20%. So just by reading this, it does feel like it's going to be very strong, and that the class tree is going to be quite interesting. So if you're playing Paladin and you look forward to the mid-season, you should be. There's going to be a very big patch for Paladins, quite similar with a like rework from the first season of Dragonflight at the end. You got a rework. This is like really looking like a rework to me. Lightsmith got like a few changes. 2 talents are going to be removed to replace 2 other talents, which is going to be a huge positive with what I'm reading. And Holy Paladin got a few changes, but not a lot. You have obviously your Retribution Paladin, also some healing changes because they did remove a talent that was able to be improved, improving your World of Glory, but that is a huge buff in general because you're never going to take that talent to PvP. And then Rogues got a few changes, but I would say it is very, very important. You have a lot of changes on Echoing Reprimand, Flagellation, even Subtlety is now like a automatic trigger. Like it will automatically drink whenever you're going to be below 30 rage. Overall, you can supercharge combo points with your Shiv, Roll the Bones, or Symbol of Death instead of like being able to do Echoing Reprimand. Now it is like a baseline thing. You have hero talents, like not really that many changes, but it's going to be still changes. I do feel like they need to rework the hero talents from Rogues, but I don't think they're going to do that for this season. But the most changes that are like most prevalent is subtlety, that will have their like shadow dust removed. So your ability to do vanish and like reduce the CDR of your abilities, that is gone. So you're not going to be able to like vanish, survive a long time because of the CDR giving to your main abilities to survive. So that is going to be changed as well. Shadow Blaze got like a buff towards their CDR. towards SCD. And the first dance duration bonus now is 4 seconds instead of 3 seconds. So those are all great things, and I wonder what they're going to do. You will have to able to be having 2 charges on Symbol of Death, which is quite good. Has 1 additional charge or 2. I would even say they have 3 charges from what I'm reading. But I'm looking forward to see what subtlety will become. And then Shaman, they got a lot of changes. I already made a video about it, so if you want to check that out, you can always check that out. But Elemental Shaman got a lot of changes. It's going to be a bit more easier to get Stormkeeper. It's going to be, in my opinion, a bit better to do lava bursts and your lightning bolts. But obviously, Ascendance is going to get changed, and it will depend on like purely balancing if it's going to be good. Overall, the playstyle doesn't change too much. So if you're playing Elemental Shaman today, it's not going to change drastically on how you play it tomorrow. But this is going to be enough to make you feel excited, I think, for the mid-season. Again, if I have my class or my spec here and there's a lot of changes, I can be excited because, again, it makes the game very fresh for us. Then you have a lot of enhancement shaman changes, which, again, it's my main. My main I don't really play too much these days, but it's still my main. They're going to change a lot of stuff, and I did make a video. I don't want to repeat myself every single time, but the main points: you will have a feral spirit, which is like casted like passively. So you have a choice node with like the feral spirits that are going to be casted, or with a recidiv reduction, or you're going to have a feral spirit that is going to be automatically casted. With abilities like a chance on, so it's RNG. But overall, the RNG is not that like hard to get, so it is overall a great thing, and I do feel like it's going to be a good rework. It's maybe not enough for PvP, but I think it's in the right direction. So again, we'll have to see. A lot of changes, like you see, it's like 1.5 page of changes for enhancement shaman. Yeah, Ascendance being a 2-minute CD is probably the biggest for PvP. That's going to help us with being able to catch up with the classes and specs in the A tier position, for example. Totemic got a lot of changes as well. So Totemic now gives different buffs now whenever you're going to put your surging totem, and you will have a lot more emphasis into hot hands and lava lashes. So that's going to be the main point. And a lot of the whirling air element is going to be improving your lightning bolt, chain lightning, elemental blast, and the surging bolts that are going to be sent onto the enemy. So that's going to be an interesting totemic change. I think totemic might be very meta for enhancement shaman, not meta in the grand scheme of things. But if you're playing enhancement shaman, I think you can prepare yourself to play also a bit of totemic. Then you have Restoration Shaman, a few changes, not that big. You have Warlocks, which, to be fair, I think they need some help in the department of actually like the design. I think the design is not that great, especially like Destruction right now. I think that they give a lot of choices, but they are like clear-cut best choices for Destruction Warlock. And that's really the saddest part. Like you have talents that are like unused and unusable in general. Hero tunnels here for warriors. All of those changes are live currently, so those 2 are live right now. And also the Slayer one, this is nerfed, by the way. It's more on live, so it's 10% on live. This is 15%, so it kind of sucks. Fury Warriors, again, a few buffs because they want to like change how Reckless Abandon is performing. I think they just need to remove it because they really don't want them. They don't want Fury Warriors to be playing around Reckless Abandon, which is alright, but they need to just remove it at this point. They want to buff the Raging Blow and Bloodthirst, but they don't want to like have it affected by Reckless Abandon. So again, it is what it is. PvP wise, a lot of changes towards the items from Blackrock Depths. So you have a lot of trinkets, a lot of toys, so that's going to be reduced in PvP, which is a good thing. You have a lot of like modifiers that are going to be changed. For example, Nature Swiftness is going to be nerfed in PvP combat, and Cenarian Ward, which has been improved in PvP recently, is now going to get removed, like nerfed, in the near future. So again, we'll have to see how it will play out. Paladins get like a new toy, which is literally Spellbreaker. Eye for an Eye can now also trigger at 100% effectiveness from magic damage, and it's also increased by 150% in PvP combat. So it's going to be a great Thorns effect towards magic damage, pretty much. You have Divine Playa. Again, after casting Aura Mastery, you restore mana for over 20 seconds, but your healing and damage is decreased by 30%. So they want to help with mana again, but I don't think mana is an issue right now in this current meta for PvP. But the Divine Playa PvP talent is going to come back from Dragonflight. And you also have a few PvP talents that are going to be improved, like they're going to come back to Protection Paladin and also Retribution Paladin, so that is going to be interesting to be played. So for example here, mark an enemy player for Retribution after they kill an ally while you're active aura. If the marked enemy is slain within 12 seconds, you can cast Redemption on the fallen ally. So it's going to be strong in solo QRBG mostly. Elemental Shaman, so you have a few modifiers that are going to be reduced, but also volcanic surge has been removed, so you don't have to cast like lava burst anymore. It's going to be purely instant, like with the lava surges. So this talent is going to be removed. And it has Mashan, the Arc Discharge is going to be nerfed by 50% PvP combat. And that's it for the changes for the classes and specs for the mid-season. Obviously, it's quite a long video, but I wanted to make you aware on the changes coming into the War Within. If you're going to play a Retribution Paladin, you should know that your spec is going to be changed, or class is going to be changed overall. And you have to research right now if you're going to enjoy it for the next mid-season, or if you're not going to enjoy it, then you have to look for a new main, for example. This is kind of the goal of the video. Hopefully all of this is going to be excited enough to play the mid-season. I think the War Within has been great. Right now I kind of ruined my own experience because I'm very indecisive on my mains. Although I try to be decisive, it's very hard because I do love too many specs, too many classes at the same time, and I feel like my focus is just not there. I don't know what I need, like a declick wise, to be able to say, look, I'm going to main this one and that's it. I don't know. I think it's quite difficult. But again, thank you for watching this video. Really appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Have a great day. Bye.